DevOps is an emerging area. It's really a philosophy, it's an approach. This is a way of changing the attitudes of development and operations. Now, that's not to say that there's no technology implications at all, but certainly the core of DevOps is about development and operations working together well. There are a lot of misconceptions around the area of DevOps. You ask senior executives whether they're doing DevOps, for example, and a lot of them will say, oh no, I don't know what DevOps is. But when you ask them if they're trying to foster better collaboration and communication between development and operations, they're like, yes, we're definitely doing that. The ability to break down the sort of silos that you get and the tribal knowledge that you have within development and operations, you definitely have with DevOps a sharing of knowledge. This is not necessarily about creating one universal role, but about the communication and collaboration to bring them together. You bring operations into the planning phase, you bring the business liaison into the development phase. So you get these two different teams or more connecting at a really fundamental level. And it's not like the silos necessarily go away, but you really bridge them in ways that other approaches haven't been able to do. DevOps is traditionally a ground-up movement. It's the sort of thing which starts with developers and operators who are a little frustrated with the pace of delivery. Some of the comments that you might hear from developers like, I never have enough infrastructure to do adequate testing. Operations can't give me the amount of servers that I need to write this application. From the operations side, there's no security in this. It takes me 4 to 6 weeks just to get software ready to deploy in production because it's not ready for production configuration. These are the sorts of comments you'll hear as a manager and as an IT leader that indicate that your developers and operators aren't necessarily all on the same page. There's definitely a disconnect between the sort of senior business executives and even senior IT executives. We see business executives jumping onto new trends like social and mobile, while IT is trying to maybe hold back. So you get this digital disconnect in the boardroom. There's an element of, I don't know what I don't know. And I think it's up to IT executives to really bridge that gap, to give their counterparts the understanding of what things like DevOps can do for the business. Real business benefits, getting revenue in the door faster from new projects and programs, execute on mergers and acquisitions a lot faster. All of the things which technology supports, because let's face it, every business today is a technology business. So being able to deliver a more coordinated, integrated approach is absolutely critical to real business results. But IT executives really need to tell the business leaders how that's going to happen. Now, you've got a lot of people who are invested in the old formats and the old methods of development, the legacy infrastructure issues. So you're developing for mobile devices, but if you're a large bank, an insurance company, a large retailer, or logistics, for example, you will tend to have large legacy systems. A lot of people think of mainframes straight off the bat, but there's also the complexity of working in a diverse environment that includes partners, agencies, contractors in various parts of the world. The integration is important. Some of the largest and most innovative companies in the world today, delivering APIs, application programming interfaces. Being able to open those up actually lets your agents, your consultants, your contractors, and your internal people work with your software regardless of platform. So you can start to connect your huge customer database to cloud services, mobile services, management of that access, security around that access. You also need to be able to test and develop across the multiple platforms. So some of these problems start to melt away and you start to be able to do real testing, integrate that with your whole development cycle. And that's the sort of workshops that we hold at CA Technologies with IT leaders, with business leaders, so that they can start to talk about how to get rid of the roadblocks and make the whole thing faster and running at the speed of business.